So here we go again then. I bet you thought we'd forgotten about you, didn't you? I bet you thought, that's it, there was no Chasing 40 last week, so they've gone off and they've done something else. Oh no, back once again like the Renegade Master.
I was just going to say that.
I don't know the next line, but it's something street. Yeah, back once again like the Chasing 40 Master. Beep, 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 beep. Power to the people. How are you then, Bec? It's been a while, hasn't it? It's been 2 weeks. What have you been up to?
What have I been up to? I've done all kinds of random stuff. I climbed aboard a Super Lamb banana the other night.
You were drunk when you did that, weren't you?
Very. Got kicked out of a networking event, which was quite class.
Was it because you were still on the Super Lamb banana? Did you ride the Super Lamb banana into the networking event?
Yeah,
did you find some sort of magic potion, something similar to what was in the Dragon Slayer, which we were going to be getting onto shortly, by the way?
And I went back home. Went back up to the motherland to see the family.
Well, you've been on a bit of a tour, haven't you? Because you were saying that you went up to Scotland as well. But those were that and many other reasons why last week we decided we'd take a little break. And to be honest, we've done 10 episodes back to back and it's really strenuous work, that.
It's tiring at our age.
Really, really tiring. So what we decided to do was just have a weekend off to rest our brains and our minds from all that talking. But yeah, you went up to Scotland, you went up to Newcastle.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think what I did. Let me think. I think I just went out drinking and watching the football. So I used my time wisely. But Bec was telling me then about, because I know there's going to be a lot of people who are going to be tuning in this week for this is the final part, actually, isn't it?
Yeah.
Of the Dragon Slayer.
Just saw a little picture there. You
know what? I didn't see what was on there. No. Okay. We had such good feedback to that. We had some freaky feedback as well. People who were a little bit disturbed by the contents of the Dragon Slayer. Wow. But remember, if you did not check that out or you didn't hear what it was all about, you can go on our Twitter feed right now at Chasing_40, or you can listen to the previous episodes that are available, whatever platform you listen right now, maybe on YouTube, on SoundCloud, or on iTunes, or as they're calling it now, Apple Podcasts.
Really?
Did you not know that?
No, I didn't.
Oh, I read an article and got some inside news apparently on. I don't want to talk too much because we'll probably get kicked off Apple Podcasts, but they're in a process of rebranding it. So I don't even know if it says that right now on the screen that you're looking at, or Apple. You'll see now on Twitter and stuff. It's Apple Podcasts.
Yeah, you've been all down with the kids.
But because I'm a rebel, I'm refusing to change from iTunes on the description of all our fields. So you know what?
You're still on Apple Fruits, aren't you?
F you, Steve Jobs. Oh, actually, sorry, you're dead. Whoever replaced you.
Gosh!
I'm going to stick with iTunes. So I'm going to keep saying we're on iTunes. 2 fingers up to you. But didn't you take the Dragon Slayer on tour, you were telling me?
I did, yeah, and I thought I'd read it to a few people and give them, like a book signing type thing, and read little excerpts. And to be honest, it just confused me even more because I hadn't kind of read the whole thing properly from start to finish. I just picked out little highlights. But yeah, it's left more questions unanswered.
But the great thing about this, actually, and that's probably why your brain started ticking over again. And was it 1987 when the Dragon Slayer was born?
About then, yeah.
Round about then, so in the 1980s. As Bec said, she read the book and she analysed it, and friends had to listen to the tales of the Dragon Slayer. And then she thought to herself, there are questions that are unanswered. So go on, tell us what you're going to do.
I'm going to write a sequel to it. What I'll do, I'll read you a couple bits more from it, and you'll understand why there are questions.
Should we get? Well, we were going to do this in part 2, but let's just get straight into it. I think now because you're poised and ready to read away. It's like some sort of retro episode of Jack and Ori. This as I look at your pitch there, ready to roll. Right, okay, so here we go. And now, if you're listening for the first time, by the way, you might want to just stop right now and go back to episode 10 to hear the first part of the Dragon Slayer. This is a book that Bec wrote in the 80s when she was a kid. She also put some illustrations in there, which are fantastic. But here we go. Here is part 2, the final part, the end of the Dragon Slayer.
Chapter 5. The terror comes again. No one could be merry as long as this was at Gilbert's Hall. At Flacou's lair, Flacou had returned. His mother, Gino, was off colour with rage.
Oh, Gino! I couldn't help that, sorry.
Right. Don't you worry, my son, Gino said.
Oh, Gino!
So, with the blood dripping, Flacou lay dying on a bed of straw. Gino followed the blood trail to Gilbert Hall. When she got there, she burst open the door and picked up the king's friend Nepal and carried him to the sea. where she ripped off Nepal's head and carried the rest of his body off.
I still can't believe these are coming out. You're a small child when you're writing this.
9? Wasn't that small?
I thought you were younger, to be honest.
King Hawk asked the jester to saddle the horses for all the people who wanted to help him find Nepal. They all set off to find him. When they neared a hill, they saw the head of Nepal with the eyes hanging out and teeth scattered all over. There was a blood trail leading to the sea. They followed the trail, and when they reached the sea, Rep jumped into the surf. Are you ready for the picture?
Now, I just want to go back again so I remember correctly. Rep, who I had down as an 80s wrestler, is he the Slayer?
Yes.
Yeah, Rep's the hero, isn't he?
Yes.
He's the blue-eyed baby face.
Yes.
And is Flaku the dragon?
Flaku's the dragon.
Right, okay, so there we go.
Yeah.
Just in case you weren't aware, kids, just thought we'd get
So
that
Nepal's
in
being carried off, he's had his head ripped off, and would you like to now see the illustration?
there. Oh, didn't we see someone's arm being pulled off?
That was Flaku's arm.
Flaku's arm. So that's how the beginning of the slaying of the dragon began, with
Yes.
Flaku's arm being pulled off by Rep. So this is now...
This is what Gino, Flaku's mum, has done to Nepal.
Gino's a woman.
Gino's a woman?
Oh, I thought... Well, to me, it's Kevin Rowland from Dexys, but go on. Oh.
So this is a hill.
Yeah.
This is blood. This is Nepal's head.
Jesus.
Those round things there are his eyeballs, and the square bits are his teeth.
I think I used this catchphrase a couple of weeks ago. You know, it would help for me to have some words to describe this on an audio podcast, but once again, you're going to have to look at Jason_40 and just see this picture.
It's quite horrific, that, isn't it?
It is. And again...
It's not really to scale, though, because his eyeballs are quite large compared to his head.
I look back and think back to what I was doing when I was that age. I certainly weren't writing gory graphic novels like this. So that's what happens. That's how the Dragon Slayer ends, or is there more?
No, there is more.
There's a chapter 6.
There's a chapter 6.
Should we go for it?
All right then. The Sea Hag. Down and down Rep plunged, sent the sea beast swimming in all directions. Rep finally reached the mysterious bottom. Whose mysterious bottom?
Ooh,
He looked around and suddenly he felt a hard grip on his wrist. Rep turned round and it was his deadly enemy, Gino, the Sea Hag.
Oh, here he is again, Dexys.
Gino dragged Rep to the cave. Luckily, it had air in it, not water. Rep hit Gino with his sword, but it just bounced back, so Rep discarded it. On the wall was a magic sword. Handy. So Rep got it and cut off Gino's head. He turned
Why has
around.
he done that? I thought Gino was a good guy.
No,
Or good
Gino's
girl.
the Sea Hag, Flaku's mother.
Oh, well, that's someone's mum. He's just cut the head off.
But she's just ripped Nepal's head.
Oh, that's the end of me references to Dexy's Midnight Runners as well. I was going to try and wedge something in about Eileen, but that's gone.
So, as we know, the last time we heard from Flaku, he was dying.
He's bleeding on the hill, isn't he?
Well, no, that was Nepal.
Oh, that's
You're getting
Nepal.
confused.
There's too many deaths in this book.
There's too many people in it.
So how many people are dead at the moment at this stage? You're at chapter 6.
Nepal's the only real death, confirmed death. So if it was the Hunger Games, there's only been one canon.
Yeah, but Blum and Gino should have their head cut off.
Oh yeah, 2.
Right, so there we go. We've had 2
Boom.
fatalities so
Boom.
far.
But now, Rep turned around and saw Flaku. He's made a comeback.
The one-armed dragon.
The one-armed dragon has come back. Rep walked across and cut off Flaku's head, but the blood disintegrated the sword.
How unlucky is him? So he survives that, right? The thing is Flaku at this point should be going, I've had my arm ripped off here. I might want to give this a miss now. That's a bit of a bad dude. So he goes back for more. Now is he dead?
Flaku is now dead.
Yeah. There's 3. There's 3, everyone. Kill counted 3.
Yeah. He's cut off Flaku's head. The blood disintegrated the sword and only left the handle. Rep grabbed the head and swam to the top of the sea. When he reached the top, friends asked what had happened. Rep told them. They poked 4 spears into Flaku's head and walked to the hall.
The end.
Pretty much. There's another little bit where it all happens. It's quite a sad ending, really. I'm not very happy with the ending. There's just like a million other people mentioned.
There's a picture of a boat there. Is that them sailing off to...
Yeah, to happier times. Look like the sun's out and all kinds of stuff now, so it's not dark and there's no blood.
So the questions from our last episode have now been answered. We end with 3 deaths and Rep, because I was thinking maybe Rep would end up getting getting it from one of the dragons or something, but
Rep's a hero, but this is where I'm thinking like now, surely, like, Flaku must have had a dad.
Flaku, right,
the dragon.
Yeah. What about Gino's husband?
That's what I'm thinking. So Flaku was like, Gino was a sea hag, so maybe his dad was a sea dragon. So like sea drag, and he could be like a gangster killer type.
I like it. Another idea I've got now, and I'm thinking back to another guy who was, because Rep for me is quite manly. He's slaying dragons' heads,
wearing lycra as a wrestler.
He's quite athletic. So I'm thinking back to someone who was quite athletic in their heyday. They were a champion in their field, which Rep is a champion in his field. Maybe, I think it would work because it's on topic, you know, with what's happened in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
Can we make Rep like Bruce Jenner, a transgender? So he can be called, I don't know, Repalina or something.
We could do that. He could have his own TV show.
The transgender dragon slayer.
Yes.
In fact, Rep could actually perform his own... No, I think I'm pushing it a bit too far.
Do you know what? You're not, though, because, believe it or not, there is actually a kids' TV show that is all about a transgender superhero. It's a cartoon. I can't remember what it's called, but basically, it's a boy, and he puts a pink ring on his finger, and he turns into a girl.
Oh, I thought you were going to say then that it details their change and it goes through all the operation and stuff. That's a bit graphic for kids, isn't it?
No, he becomes a girl, and the girl's then superhero, and then he takes the ring off and he goes back to being a boy.
Well, maybe that's what happens with Rep when he gets his sword and he strikes it down and off it goes, and straight away, like, a light goes off and he's Repelia. This is a fucked up conversation, this, isn't it?
Isn't it? No drugs were taken in the making of this programme.
No, so okay, well we've got the makings there for the Dragon Slayer. What was the feedback, by the way, that you had? Because obviously you went back home, and there's a lot of people who listen in the northeast, and also you went up to Scotland as well along the way. What were they saying? You said that you had some feedback. Mm-hmm. What was the common consensus? Because I can only see obviously what comes in on the mail and the Twitter feed that we get.
Yeah.
There was some questions about your sanity.
I think that the main reply when I finished the book was just, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And that's it. That sums it up. But there was quite a lot of kind of excitement over a sequel or a prequel.
Well, I'm still trying to find, because I think it's my turn, and maybe next week I'll finally be able to dig it out. The songs, I don't know whether or not they would add any comedy value, because, you know, when you're at that age, you're writing books. I was thinking to myself, I'm going to be in the next Beatles. So I was crafting away at tunes and designing album covers for the band that I had.
You're going to be like dead good.
No, this is right. Me and my cousin, the first band we agreed to set up, I say band, it was just me and him playing our guitars. The band name we come up with, I'm thinking like, I was like, where the hell did this come from? And I was searching my memory bank, and I remembered what it come from. I'm thinking, if that had have actually taken off, God, what a crap story this would have been to tell to the likes of Smash Hits and NME or whatever the magazines are. The band we come up with, the first name was Pace.
Pace?
Yeah. Now, I know straight away you're looking at me, you're going to say, it's Hale and Pace, aren't you?
Yeah, that's where I'm coming from.
That would have a bit of showbiz to it.
Well.
It's not that at all.
Where was it?
I was thinking, where the hell? Because I was looking at, and I haven't got the picture, but I'm going to get it and I'll put it on at Chasen_40. I was thinking, Pace, where did that come from? Then I remembered, one of the very early satellite boxes we had was like a Pace box.
No.
There might be someone listening right now who goes, oh, I remember that, or they've still got it. But I remember we were sat there one day with our guitars and we were strumming away, and I looked over and went, that's the name. I thought, what? You know, if that we would have made a success of that one. You look at the Beatles and, you know, where the name come from for that, and some of the famous bands out there, like the Beatles, wasn't it? John Lennon was visited one night by someone on a flaming pie who said, you're going to call the Beatles me. Yeah, guys, you know, we were sat, it was really, you know, it's a really great story. One day we were just sat there in the living room and I looked at the satellite box and thought, Pace, that's really got legs.
It sounds really middle class, though. Do you know what? At least you had a satellite box. Well, my band would have been like Betamax.
Wait until you hear what the title of our debut album was going to be called.
What?
Help. I've fallen down a mineshaft. That was the name of the album. I've got a design of that. We've done the logo where we basically ripped off, I think it was like the Oasis type one. With help, I've fallen down a mineshaft. And again, I remember the conversation with my cousin, because he's going, come again? I'm going, no, think about it. If you walk in HMV or Virgin or our price, God, I am showing me age now, and you see right at the front an album which says "Help, I've fallen down a mine shaft," you're gonna want to pick that up.
What? A mine shaft, though?
Now, before you
and you think there's no comedy value to anything that you did as a child?
Look, that's at the moment, that's the one thing that stands out. I can't remember the tracks on it though, but I'll have a little look and see what I can find. Please on there. Do. But maybe, I don't know, and I can validate this once I find the information. Maybe it was some sort of like, I don't know, concept album about the mining crisis of the 80s. That's where that title come from. Track 1, Arthur Scargill Blues. Yeah, track 2, That Bitch Thatcher. 3, Those Coppers. Bashed by those coppers on the overtime. Oh, anyway, but that's we're giving a great account of our childhood here, aren't we? Beck just rounded off week 2 of the Dragon Slayer, and I'm talking about my pending music career. You can see how we ended up getting into the world of showbiz, can't you? Into the world of media and radio. Oh, but you know what, Talk? Actually, I thought this week we were going to be beginning the show with, well, I actually ummed and ahed over this. Thought, well, will we be able to even do a show? Will we have to go into a second week? Because there was all the route. In fact, well, probably most of them were started by me. But you'll recall the message I sent. Was it on Thursday? Prince Phillip is dead.
Oh, yes. Do you know, I was like totally I'm a huge royalist.
A good friend of ours as well, somebody you work with for quite some time, Lisa, she is also a massive Prince Phillip fan. She absolutely loves him and just thinks all the stuff he's got up to over the years, all the japes, all the non-PC things are absolutely hilarious. Sees him as a bit of a lovable character. But the reason for that, obviously it was the French media, which I think now when you look back on it, because they've got all that election going on, someone's put that out there to bury some news about what's going on with the election. But they reported, basically, Buckingham Palace announced there's going to be a big meeting the next day. Everyone needs to attend. It's something serious. Something big is happening.
Yep.
French media then put out that Prince Philip has died. Now, I get up early in the morning anyway, so I'm up by, if it's by 5:15, I'm not up and out and doing something's gone wrong. But even at that time, I look at my phone, I message after message after message, and I'm thinking, what the bloody hell's happened here? And then my phone goes, and it's people I know working in radio who are flapping a bit, who are a bit concerned because they've heard that Prince Philip has passed away. Now, the thing is when it comes to radio and the media, if a member of the royal family dies, depending on the grade of royal family member, there's different protocol that you've got to follow. There's a little orange light in the studio, which once that goes off, it's panic time.
The obit procedure.
So for the likes of the Queen Mother, for example, and this is legit, if the Queen were to die, say the Queen drops tomorrow, you're going to hear non-stop classical music on the radio for a good week or so. You're going to see TV programmes suspended and rolling news. Even in this day and age, I know there'll be a lot of people out there thinking, oh, bloody hell, it's more like a tourist thing. But honestly,
adverts go.
When the Queen dies, everything will grind to a halt. Your favourite station that plays your cool bands like Coolio and S Club 7 and stuff, you won't be hearing any of that. You'll be hearing Mozart and Bach. But so I'm thinking to myself, well, if Philip is dead, and this was the query and the worry that a lot of my friends were having, what the frickin' hell are we going to do? Because he's the Queen's fella.
Yeah.
So would he be classed as Queen type level? I think that it would be definitely the love songs. We definitely go into the non-stop love tunes. But I thought, how the hell are we going to handle the podcast this week? One of the ideas was we'd be doing a Prince Philip tribute.
Oh.
But the tribute would just be about him cocking things up over the years. And what a lovable buffoon he's become.
Well, after you text me, I spent the next hour finding lovely pictures of him that I thought, well, once the announcement's out, I can put it on Instagram.
I did that as well.
I have got loads. I've got about 50 pictures on my phone.
I googled, because when I was searching in, there was loads of the ones coming up with him with his, various medals and meeting people at garden fates and stuff. So I decided to go one step further and started throwing in some like cool words and stuff. So I was like, cool Prince Philip pictures, Prince Philip in action.
Not in action. Imagine what you could have got.
Look, you're worried about people finding the pictures of Vladimir Putin on your one. If someone goes on my Google search, they'll be going, what type of sick freak is he?
Prince Philip porn.
Yeah, Prince Philip cool pose. I don't know, what was I, like, because we've got internet in here now. Let's see if I put in again. What would come up if I go Prince Philip in action?
Oh, see, I just went for lovely ones of like on his wedding day where he's gazing lovingly at the Queen.
I found some good ones of him being when he was a young Phil.
He's a handsome fella, wasn't he? really good looking back in the day.
Oh, I definitely would. I mean, yeah. What a man's man. All that. Prince Phillip in action.
I don't know if I want to see.
There we go.
That's not him in a cowboy hat, is it?
Well, that's the thing. If you, the funny
And why
thing,
is there a picture of him? Oh, no, that's not. I thought that was him with Camilla.
that's quite a good one there. Him looking sort of all. He's doing the blue steel gimmick from Zoolander. The young Phil. Yeah, what I'll do is I'll screenshot this now, and then we'll get that put on at chasing_40. So if you listen to it right now, if you look at the link for the latest show on there, you'll see some of the pictures.
I'm so pleased.
Oh, there's the one anyway.
Which one?
Him on his bike.
Oh, yes.
I'll keep that one because when he drops, Easy Rider Phil is going on there.
Maybe we need our own orbit procedure for when... Because
that's
this
the thing.
stuff's going to start happening.
But what is going to happen when it comes to... Because it's not just us. There's thousands of podcasts that are out there around the world. Obviously, they're not all based in the UK, but are people going to respect that? Or are people just going to use it as an opportunity and think, well, they're playing classical music. Let's go for it, champ.
Get S-Club on.
Yeah, I think that's what we may end up
We'll
doing.
dig out the bros.
But don't worry about it. It's okay. Phillip, Prince, our beloved Prince... He's still with us, although he's retired, hasn't he now?
He's going to stand down from autumn. He's going to see everything out over summer and then stand down when it gets a little bit nippy.
What a guy, eh? What a guy. In total hilarious fashion, by the way. Obviously, because the Dragon Slayer is of much importance to us and talking about Prince Phillip pictures, I've totally forgotten that we actually have got a guest on the show this week.
Oh, oops.
We've got Katrina from Katrina and the Waves because it's Eurovision next week.
Of course it is. I can't wait.
Are you a big fan of Eurovision?
I love Eurovision. I haven't had one for a couple of years, so I might have to do one this year.
I was looking at, there was a party, it was like a night, and it looks absolutely fantastic in Liverpool City Centre. It's all sold out now, but they've got like loads of sort of Eurovision acts, and they've obviously got it on there, and they've got the theme, people getting dressed up, and loads of Eurovision games. But I didn't it was only until a few years ago I realised how big a deal those Eurovision parties are.
Oh, I used to have one when I was at university. I had one every year, and you had to come and you got dressed up as your country, that you picked out of a hat, and you had to bring some food that went with it. And if you put subtitles on, the English words to the foreign songs come up, so you can kind of sing along
to it.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
I didn't know it was that in depth.
Oh, God, yeah.
So that is taking place next week. Where it's taking place, I haven't got a clue. I just know it's somewhere in Europe. I think, is it Russia? Oh, my God. Let's not speculate. Let's just leave it on that one. Yeah. But Eurovision is going to be taking place. Before we finish up the show, we're going to have a quick chat with Katrina for Katrina and the Waves. Who, when you hear it, she's not really that bothered about the old I'm the last UK winner of Eurovision. I honestly thought she'd be a little bit more excited, but hey, you know what? Some people just aren't into it, are they? Do
you know, right, a question on that?
Yeah.
When we leave the EU, can we still enter Eurovision?
Well, isn't that quite... Was it Australia last year was in it, or...?
I think so. I think they get, someone gets a special dispensation for some reason.
I think Australia got in it for the reason being it was like the anniversary, but I'm pretty sure there's a couple of countries that aren't technically classed as being in the EU. They'll have to put England in it, because who else is really that... Is it that massive all around Europe? You're getting some countries now who are just putting crap entrants in because they don't want to win it because the cost is so much. That's the funny thing. The one country that really wants to win it and will put on... I mean, just imagine, they probably have it at Wembley Stadium. That's how big a deal it would be. But because everyone absolutely hates England... We haven't got a chance. I mean, if they hated us for our stance on military action, what do you honestly think is going to happen? I mean, nil point was the worst one, wasn't it?
Gemini.
Nil point. Right, I reckon we'll end up in a deficit this time. I think we'll owe points.
We'll owe them points.
Right, we are deducting the UK 10 points. What? That's not even in the rules. You leave the Euro, it'd be like that all of a sudden that Juncker guy, the head of the EU, who's been slagging us off for doing the Brexit thing, he'll appoint himself the head judge of every single country. Every time it goes over to someone. Like, hang on, that's that Becking Juncker fella again.
Just with a different glasses on or a moustache.
Yeah, before I begin, we'll award the point. We'll do it in reverse. United Kingdom minus 10 points. Everyone else 100 points. Well, I've never seen this happen before. It's a Graham Norton now that does it as well.
I think so, yeah.
But it's not going to end well, is it? That
no,
Eurovision
definitely. I don't even know who's representing us this year.
Some Eurovision fan here, isn't she? Before we do get to all that, the one thing that I want to mention on this show, and I was going to ask you about it, and you'll probably be able to give me an honest assessment, because I speak to you quite a lot, and obviously we do this show together weekly. Do you think I overdo it on the old Rocky quotes?
Well, you like
That
a
means-
good Rocky.
that means
No,
you do.
you like a good Rocky quote, and there's nothing wrong with it. I think everything has its time and its place. However, yeah, you'll have one on your gravestone and all kinds. And
Well, I got involved as a project that I'm involved with at the moment, which is quite exciting. I'll have some news on that in the coming weeks here on Chase and 40. As I've been, this week's been a bit of a hellacious week for me when it comes to sort of work and the hours that I've been putting in. But I've been working with a guy who I've worked with many times over the years on this project, and he said to me, he said, "Oh, you still love that blooming Rocky? You're still referencing that Rocky all the time, aren't you?" And what do you mean? He said, "You and your Rocky quotes." And I'm starting to realise now, every bit of advice or every scenario, if it's of a personal nature, if it's of a professional thing, just anything, I will link it to a scene in Rocky. So I'm trying to get this guy on board to work on me on this project, and I'm saying, come on, like the obvious one of one more round. You know, we've got one more round in us. He's gone, "I don't know, Jeff. I don't know whether I want to commit to it." I'm like, "We can do this. We can do this." And I said, "What you got to remember," I said, "this is so the way I look at it is, it's a bit like, and this is my feelings on it, that scene in Rocky 6 where Rocco's talking to Paulie and he's saying, 'I've got some stuff in the basement.' Do you know what I mean?" And he's looking at me going, "No, I've no idea what you're talking about." You know, they're in the meat factory. "No." And then sending him the link, which is like quite a moving, touching scene. If there's anyone listening right now, the stuff about the stuff in the basement was quite apt for that moment in time. The next 4 minutes that come after it, like, he's looking at this going, "What the fucking hell is all this about?" But I have noticed every time someone comes and asks me for advice, I will use a Rocky quote. Now, every time I'm getting up, if I want to, you know, some people put motivational quotes up all the time on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter. You go on my Instagram, every other one is a Rocky picture or a Rocky reference.
you do have a little bit of an obsession.
It's getting to a point where I wouldn't rule this out. If, you know, one of my family members or someone close to me comes up to me and goes, "I've got some terrible news, Jeff. I've got cancer." I'll respond with, "Well, Adrian from Rocky had cancer. She died."
Oh my god!
So I can't relate.
Please don't do that.
I can't relate to anything in life, any situation to anything but a Rocky film. I mean, if I can't solve your problem with saying something like "the world ain't all sunshine and rainbows," I'm out. Honestly, I've turned into a... Like when I was watching the Rocky films as a kid, going, "Oh, Rock's my hero. Rocky's my hero. I love him." And Mickey was the little owl bastard who was, you know, keeping him chugging along for the first couple. I've turned into a 36-year-old Mickey. "Get up, you bum, because Mickey loves you."
What?
That's another line from Rocky, yeah.
Are you sure about that?
Look, I'm even starting to, like, imagine quotes now. Like Sylvester Stallone will be coming on next week going, "Hey, yo, I didn't say any of that shit you fucking come out with, boy." Right, you know what? Let's take a little break. And then I think we should have Katrina from Katrina on the waves on the phone, and we'll catch up with her talking about the triumph she had back in the 1990s. It was a big one, though, wasn't it?
It was massive.
Katrina from Katrina the Waves, she was our last ever winner of the Eurovision Song Contest. So stay tuned, we'll have that up for you next. Honestly, it's weird to listen to because you're just not that impressed by it.
Hello, Jeff. How are you?
I'm good, Katrina. So, 1997 then was the year that you walked away with Eurovision, which was the last time we actually won the damn contest. What were your memories actually looking back on when you took part in it?
Well, we recorded Love Shine a Light for the Samaritans who were celebrating their 50th anniversary. And the song just got picked up by the BBC, and everybody just started this tremendous buzz about, we've heard the song that's going to win Eurovision this year. And we thought, okay, take the song, but we're not going to record it. I mean, I'd never even watched Eurovision.
Yeah, because I was going to say that, because of course you are from America, but you came over here very, very early on in your career. 1976, wasn't it, that you came over to the UK?
Yes.
So you'd never even watched it up until that point?
I hadn't watched it up to that point, and it just kind of wasn't my thing. I mean, we thought we were a cool band. We thought we were garage.
Be honest, Katrina, because you were saying that you'd never ever seen it really. You know, it wasn't something that really appealed to you. When was the first time you actually saw something Eurovision related? Did someone from the record company or someone you know say, sit down, watch a tape of it? What were your first thoughts when you actually saw Eurovision?
Yeah, oh my God. When I saw the other acts and I saw what it was all about, and I just couldn't believe how seriously everybody was taking it.
Yeah, I was going to say, did you realise how some countries take it so seriously?
Oh, absolutely, they do, and they didn't like my attitude either. They you know, look, Katrina, you know, you've got to take this seriously. I was like, no, why do I have to take this seriously? It's just a bit of fun.
For winning it, what is the prize actually? Do you get some sort of trophy or something, or?
It was kind of like one of those wooden toilet lids. Yes, I mean, it was very nice to have, and it was extremely heavy. So Kimberly, who wrote the song, had to carry it around. He kept asking, would somebody help me carry this around? We said, no, it's all yours, Kim.
And what do you do? Do you give it back after 12 months, or do you get to keep this toilet seat?
No, you get to keep it. Isn't that wonderful? So if you ever get run short of toilet lids, then yes. When we got the award, and I did make a little joke about it being like that, it was very, very wrong, and I was reprimanded, and I probably will be again. Whatever.
Oh, it's like the whole part of Eurovision for me, I think, is just the sort of cheesy side to it, and you know, it makes it fun. It's good to see that you went in with a sort of carefree attitude. It's sad that they actually take themselves so seriously that they get upset with us calling their trophy a toilet seat. But have you kept up with it since 1997, since you won it?
Oh, sure. I mean, it's the one night I always have a show.
Deep down though, Katrina, do you want someone else to win, or would you rather just be remembered as the last UK winner?
I'm perfectly happy for someone else to win. No, really, I'm perfectly happy. Yes.
So you want to pass on the toilet seat now, or the torch?
Yes, indeed.
Well, thanks for coming on then, Katrina, minus your waves, and we'll look forward to Eurovision.
Thank you so much, Jeff. Take care.
Okay.
Right, that is it from us this week. We're now going to go away and swat up on all things Eurovision. Bec is going to arrange her party.
Yes.
Remember, if you want to check out previous episodes of Chasing 40, they're all available right now on iTunes. Yeah, flicking the V's, not Apple Podcasts. Also on YouTube, you can go on Channel 29, you can find it there, and on SoundCloud. If you want to just do a search on the old Google thing, Chasing 40 Podcast, you'll find us on whatever destination you choose. You can leave a review, and you can like, you can subscribe, all the usual things. Have yourself a great week. We will be back with episode 12 now. Episode 12! With some songs, hopefully, from my collection. From the award-winning album that never was. Help, I've Fallen Down a Mineshaft by the band Pace.
I can't wait.
See you next week.